saying, "I'm sorry," and I really didn't care who I hurt. Me, myself, I was on a mission, and if you got in my way, well, oh, I guess I'm sorry. But other than that, it was never going to come out of my mouth. As a young child, I was the last of 4, and the youngest daughter. You could say I was a wee bit spoiled. If you ask my 2 brothers and my sister, they will tell you I was a whole lot spoiled. My youngest of brothers and I fought forever. I'm pretty sure he and I started fighting the second I was brought home from the hospital. My father, a very patient man, had finally gotten to the end of his rope one day when we were at a camping outing. And my father said to my brother and I, "If you 2 don't stop fighting, I'm going to sit you in that tree over there, and I'm going to tie you up till you learn to say I'm sorry." Well, my brother and I sat at that tree, tied. No one was going to say anything. And finally, my mother, to my father, said, "Daryl, you have to untie them. They've got to go to bed." And as he untied us, we walked away, neither one saying I'm sorry for being such brats to each other. This continued on most of my life. I married my husband and taught him how to treat me because I got everything I wanted. And if I hurt his feelings, I didn't care. If I lost friends in the wake of getting where I was going, I didn't care. It was a few years ago, 2005 to be exact, that I learned to care. You see, my sister, the oldest of all of us, was diagnosed with cancer. We found out shortly into her diagnosis that what we thought would be something curable was not going to be. I took those last months with my sister and I became the most wonderful sister I could ever be. I learned to say to her, "I'm so sorry for being the sister I was. I should have been better, and I'm so sorry." And we had some wonderful times. She went to meet God in February of 2006. Easter came about, and I knew my mother was going to have a tough holiday. You see, she was, for the first time in her life, without her firstborn child. And I knew, having children of my own, this was going to be very difficult. So I went to meet my mother and spent a wonderful holiday weekend. What you don't know is my younger brother and I had fought after my sister's death. It was horrible. He would never say he was sorry, nor I. And my mother begged us, time after time, "Please make up with each other." "No, I won't. I didn't do anything wrong," was what both of us had to say. That Easter weekend, on a wonderful Friday, when my mother woke up from a nap, she proclaimed that she was having a heart attack. My mother died that weekend. And with her, she took a horrible, horrible thought that her 2 children will never love each other, that we will never learn to be good people. This ate at my brother and I for some time, but yet we still continued to never say, "I'm sorry." Finally, one day, it did get to me, and I realized that God had given me a wonderful opportunity to be my sister's friend, to say to her, I was sorry for being that brat. He gave me one last minute with my mother to assure her that I loved my brother, and I was sorry to her that he and I had come to an impasse that we would never get past, but that I loved him dearly, and she needed to know that. I realized I was going to lose those same very moments with my brother. So I thought to myself, now how do you say you're sorry without saying you're sorry? After a while, I did kind of figure it out, and I called my brother on the way home from work one Monday, and I said to him, "Ken, hey, I just wanted to call and say, you know, I'm real sorry for the way I acted when Marjorie died. And, well, let's try to put that behind us. That was a gateway of emotions. My brother started crying. He, too, was sorry for what we had gone through. He and I started talking, and we shared great emotions, some tears, some laughter, and we realized that we really were a lot alike. God hadn't gifted our family with one stubborn person. He gave my family two. My brother and I had made up, and it was wonderful. We had both learned to say, I was sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, that Saturday, my brother was taken to the emergency room. He was diagnosed with meningitis and was comatose for 3 months. When he came out, he remembered nothing of our past, none of our arguing, none of our arguments over my sister's death. Because you see, he was brain damaged, and he wouldn't remember anything. But I do. I remember in my heart that I got to say to him that I was sorry, and how wonderful a feeling that was. Every day now, every single day, no matter how uncomfortable it is, if I hurt someone's feelings, I tell them I'm sorry. Instead of using people and not caring about them, I have learned to work with others and let them be successful in life. I share my story with you this evening because I know as I look throughout the audience here, if you know one person that cannot say, I'm sorry, or perhaps you are that person, that you would be able to share my story